Think we're good to go ahead and get started. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. This is our webinar, Say Goodbye to Paper, Transform Your Business with Square 9. We're doing this in partner with our reseller, Century Business Technologies. My name is Nick Vergara. I'm the Senior Digital Marketing Specialist here at Square 9. I'll just be kind of emceeing today's event. Just a couple things before we get started. We are recording this webinar and we'll give the recording to Century and they'll send it to you after via email. But if you have any questions during the webinar, you can submit them below. There's a Q&A button in Zoom, and we also have closed captions enabled if you need to turn that on as well. That's located at the bottom there. So we are joined today by Ron Bach, our Regional Sales Director, and he is gonna take us through everything Square 9. So I'll hand it over to Ron.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending this webinar. Just a quick agenda. We're going to go over who we are and talk about automating different departments like accounts payable, accounts receivable, simplifying human resources, eliminating confusing contracts, so contracts management, and we'll get into some specific industry solutions from there. So who we are, Square 9 is a US-based software company. We're based out of New Haven, Connecticut, and we're an AI-powered intelligent information management platform. And we partner with Century Business Technologies to make it easier to get things done with a digital process and make work processes more efficient and help take the paper out of work, right? So let's face it, many organizations run off of paper and paper-based business processes, from accounting to human resources to dealing with contracts and many, many more. So if you're a manufacturer, you're dealing with a lot of paper in that manufacturing process. Paper's served us well for thousands of years, but nowadays, a lot of organizations are going digital, and by doing that, it makes those processes more efficient, less error prone, and more nimble. So using an automated IAM, you can just do things a lot faster with less errors, and it's also more secure that way, right? So what is intelligent information management? You'll hear me refer to that term quite a bit, and I'll use it as a new acronym for you today is IIM. So by extracting, information off of documents. So I scan a document in, or I have a PDF that someone emailed me, or I'm downloading a PDF document from a web portal or something like that. So, by extracting important information off of those documents and then storing those documents in a searchable archive, where it's secure and easy to find. We also build digital twins of your current business processes using a graphical workflow. Square 9 can provide an impactful solution for various departments and industries that I'm going to share with you today. So with Square 9, it all starts with these are the four tools in our tool bag, so to speak, and it all starts with our document capture automation. We call that global capture. That is where we capture the document and extract the important information off of that document, whether it's a vendor invoice or it's an onboarding document in HR or a contract from another company. We can easily capture that information and use that high value data to index that document into a secure repository where all your That's called Global Search, and that's our document management platform down here at the bottom left. And that's where we can securely store and manage all your important business documents. Hence the name Global Search. We make it easy for you to find those documents within seconds. And then to put those documents into motion, we have our business process management engine or workflow engine. We call that Global Action. So that's used for things like an approval process, a digital approval process, a review process, document retention scheduling. So if you have to keep documents for a certain period due to compliance purposes, then we can set up that document retention scheduling. Notifications. So when a certain document is received into the system, we can notify certain individuals to take action on that document. And then it doesn't stop there. So with our web forms management, we call that Global Forms. That eliminates the need for paper forms. You know, think about it when you go to the doctor's office and they hand you a clipboard with 10 forms on it that you got to fill out until you can see the doctor. What if I could just have that done before I got to the doctor's office, right? So that's one example of the use of web forms, but it eliminates the need for those handwritten forms or PDF fillable forms that don't have any workflow behind them. So that's our solution as a whole. And, you know, that's how we can make things more effective in your organization. So I want to start with a quick poll here, and I'll have Nick put that out to everybody. You know, what can IIM do for you? So where are you struggling within your organization? Is it, you know, filing documents? Is it entering data into a line of business application? Is it searching and you know, retrieval of information? Or is it, you know, some automated process, right? So it looks like we're pretty let the results come in here for a second. All right, it looks like the clear winner, well, it's a little tie between data entry and search and retrieval of information, which is pretty par for the course, right? Studies have shown that the average employee spends about an hour a day searching for information. And what if you could cut that hour a day down to a couple of minutes, making your employees more productive, right? Or not having to manually key in information into a line of business application. So, all right, so we are going to talk about taking the paper out of payables. Accounts payable is probably our most popular process that we start with, and with about 85% of our customer engagements start in the accounts payable department. And the reason for that is there's many challenges there, right? You know, according to the International Organization of Financial Management, you know, 84% of AP practitioners spend their time on manual tasks, whether it's, you know, misplaced invoices, right? So that can lead to time-consuming searches, interrupt the process, right? For searching for an invoice. Or it also might be, hey, I'm missing an invoice and I can't match it against the PO. So that matching process within the accounts payable department. Then you have approval bottlenecks, right? With manual paper processes, you get an invoice in and you have to go set it on somebody's desk that, you know, set that piece of paper on the desk, and they may be out to lunch. They come back and, you know, forget about it for 2 weeks, and, you know, by then you're getting a late payment or something. So tedious data entry, you know, that's the #1 time-consuming part of the AP process, is having to key in all of that data and sometimes including line item data off of an invoice into an accounting software. So as you know, that's very tedious, and as the poll said as well. So all of those bottlenecks in this process, in a paper-based process, lead to, hey, I'm missing those early pay discounts that my lovely vendors are providing to me. Hey, if I pay that within, net 15, hey, I get a 2% discount. And lastly, 61% of late payments are due to those bottlenecks in the process, right? So, hey, if I'm paying late payments, that's less money to the organization's bottom line. So what we can do with our AI powered document capture solution is make it more cost effective, right? It's an AI powered document capture solution is very accurate and can take a lot of effort out of the AP process, right? With those documents easily accessible, they can be routed to a team member based on various criteria, right? It could be the vendor name, it could be the location where the invoice is. You have several locations in your organization. Could be by the department, right? We can also set it to where someone in accounts payable can select who needs to approve that invoice, right? And we digitally route that to them. They would get an email with the hyperlink to the invoice and be able to click on that invoice and approve it on the fly. They can even use their mobile device to do that as well. And then if we can send out gentle reminders to them that, hey, this invoice has been waiting for approval for 2 days, please submit the approval. So those are ways that we can help, streamline that approval process, right? And then to eliminate data entry, we have several integrations with financial software, QuickBooks Online, Microsoft Business Central. We have some industry specific like PDI and AgTrax if you're in agriculture, or PDI. So there are many ways, and we integrate with most line of business applications out there. So that is a way to help eliminate that data entry. And it also helps with general ledger coding as well, to be able to pull the general ledger list from your accounting software and be able to do digital general ledger coding on the invoices, right? Either from the total amount or on the line item. So just a quick case study, Ann Arbor Spark. They saved a ton of time. I mean, 10 hours a month on the payables process, by automating and cross-checking. They're able to reap those early pay discounts. They've eliminated all of their late fees and, can find invoices within seconds. So, so this is a great case study that you can find on our website, square-9.com, and under the resources tab, there's many case studies about this. All right, moving on to taking the paper out of the receivables. So accounts receivable, you have to deal with many different document types, right? We're dealing with your invoices, your work orders, purchase orders, bills of lading, packing slips or delivery receipts, right? So those are all documents that are generated by your systems, right, internally. So instead of hitting print, why not just hit save within those ERP or line of business applications that are generating these documents? So then we can ingest them into our document capture workflow, automatically index them, store them into global search, into the repository so they're easily found. So that way, if you're on the phone with your AR department is, collecting on an invoice, they have all of the proof right at their fingertips while they're on the phone with them, right? So, a lot of things that happen, you can, reduce this receivables days outstanding by 25%, right? So a lot of what happens is, okay, the goods get delivered and the delivery receipt is or confirmation has been lost or missing. So that customers won't pay for what you can't prove, right? So by eliminating that lost or missing delivery receipt, you're going to increase your receivables tremendously. So so those are some ways that we can help with the accounts receivable department and help make it more efficient. So the extended days outstanding, that's probably the most important part of this process. And we're able to, 93% of businesses experience late payments, and 47% of credit sales are paid late as well. So having all of this digital, efficient, we can even send out reminders to your customers and things like that to remind them that, hey, these invoices are outstanding. Please pay them as soon as possible, right? So anyway. So another thing that we can do, the role of an ECM or a IIM solution in the receivables process is getting all of that information into your signed delivery tickets, work orders, original invoices, having all of those digital, right? So that opens up an area where some of these forms, like a work order or a delivery ticket, can be digitized when you deliver your goods to your customer, right? So replacing that delivery paperwork with a mobile tablet, for example, and utilizing our web forms to be able to have a digital signature as as the goods are being delivered. Your delivery person can have them review and sign an invoice right on a tablet. As soon as you hit submit, that's back to the home office, and that payable, that receivable can be received. So that's just one way. Work orders are, if you're a service industry, and for example, I had a garage door company. They utilize our software that came out and did the repairs, and they had everything on a tablet, was able to see the final cost, and I was able to sign the tablet, hit submit, and was immediately billed, and my invoice was received on my mobile device or in my email immediately. So here's another case study that helped them streamline. This is GDI, General Distributors Inc., and they have been able to streamline their process, and it's changed the way that they work. It's increased their customer satisfaction and customer relations, right? So this is a great way to help improve that, and there's many others on our website, as I mentioned before. All right, now let's get into human resources as another area that we can help organizations, right? A lot of paperwork within HR. So you may have job applications, so the whole onboarding process, right? You might have performance reviews, benefits, a lot of different documents that are need to be in compliance and regulations with state and federal organizations or governments, right? So there's also a lengthy onboarding process if you're doing that as a paper-based process, or you've got PDF documents that you're emailing to the new employee that they have to fill out, print. Quick story there. One of the challenges is it's a personal story. So I went to work for a large organization and a long time ago, and they sent me a email with about 10 PDFs in it for all the onboarding paperwork. It took me about 4 hours to print out, fill out, and sign all of those on all the onboarding paperwork, and then I had to scan them back in to an email and then send them back to the HR department, right? So that took me about 4 hours. Yeah, here at Square 9, when I came to work for Square 9 several years ago, I got an email with a hyperlink and a password. Clicked on the hyperlink, entered in the password, boom, right on the screen was all of the onboarding documents that I needed to fill out. I was able to do it in about 5 minutes and digitally sign every one of them. And it was immediately submitted to our HR department. So that's just an example of some of the challenges and what we can do there. So by utilizing some of these forms, you're also protected in a HIPAA compliant repository, right? So all of these documents can be stored in a HIPAA, SOC 2, FERPA compliant repository. So you are in compliance with regulations, right? So this just becomes a more smoother process, and it can improve that employee retention by 82% with a digitized process. So here's another example of one of our customers, ShopRite. Similar to the story I told, they're able to gather all of that in onboarding or employee documents, store them in a secure location that easy to find those documents within seconds, and reduce the man hours spent in the HR department dealing with all of the different paperwork for all of the employees. So definitely take a look at that. They're one of our very, very happy customers. All right, so let's get into contracts management. So a lot of us have to deal with contracts, leases, things of that nature that there's documents related to those contracts. So lost or missing contracts, that that cannot be produced and can lead to risks and penalties and for your business, and prevent your organization from getting what was agreed upon, right? So some contracts have auto renewals, right? So if I'm missing, I don't have a copy of that contract, I don't know when it renews. So difficult to track those renewal dates, right? And that can lead to a lot of pain within your organization. So confusion between versions, right? So you have multiple versions of a contract that maybe several people are collaborating on that contract, and it makes it difficult to realize which is the current version, right? So if you're just passing around Word documents and things like that. So we give you the ability to store that contract for being able to find that contract within seconds, and then we can keep version control. So when that contract's up for renewal or it's a new contract, and you have to work with it, with the legal department or the executives of the organization, we can certainly make sure that the current version is always the one that's being in control. So then we can also, track those renewals, contract renewal dates, right? And be able to alert certain individuals. So let's say I have a lease that I know expires in a year. Well, in 9 months, I can start alerting people, hey, these contracts are coming up for expiration. What would you like to do with them? So those are some ways that we can help, eliminate some of the problems that organizations face with contracts management. So here's another case study from Elder Care Alliance. They had an audit trail that was very helpful. So every time a document enters our system, we keep a complete audit trail of everything that happens to that document. So if you're ever audited, you have the ability to provide that auditor with a complete audit trail of every document within the system. So this was very huge with them to be able to have the automatic notification. So we know ahead of time if that contract's expiring, we can make a decision whether to cancel the contract or renew the contract, or hey, maybe I want to work on some better terms with this supplier, and I want to work with that supplier on a better contract. So that leads us to another poll here, and so basically what we've talked about so far, which areas would you like to start automating? We'll let this poll go for a few seconds. All right. I think so. Accounts payable was the clear winner, followed by tax compliance, which is another area where we can help manage all of those important tax documents. Your W-9s from your vendors. We can also provide you with ways to capture the W-9s, and also send out gentle reminders to your vendors. Hey, we need a copy of that W-9. Will you please send it in? We can also, with our global forms, provide a portal to allow them to upload it, or they can use one of our global forms to fill out the W-9 online and submit it, sign it and submit it. And so you're in compliance for taxes. So that's another area that we can help you with. So, all right, great. All right, some more specific industry solutions that we offer. One is education, right? So, K through 12 education has to deal with a lot of student and staff records. And so there's health records, immunization records, parent communications. So there's a lot of forms that get sent to the parents by a paper, and then they give them to the student on their way to school, and the student loses them on the way to school. So then there's a lot of back and forth with a lot of paperwork. So there are many ways that we can help with K through 12 education. And we integrate with a lot of student information systems, like PowerSchool, Infinite Campus, to be able to, pull data from, so if I know a student ID, I can automatically use those index fields to help store documents or look up information, right? And then, once again, we're a HIPAA and FERPA compliant solution. So we definitely fit well and play well in the education space. So that's one area. Then agriculture and farming. So a lot of agriculture cooperatives use our software, and Century Business Technologies has developed a integration with AgTrax to be able to work with their accounts payable, accounts receivables, and HR management, right? And pass that data to and from the agriculture ERP software like AgTrax. And we also integrate with other agriculture ERP software, AgVantage, AgVance, for example. So, but that helps, streamline that data entry, right? Eliminate that data entry into these ERP systems. So, so that's another area where we help a lot of organizations. Convenience stores. So, I'm from Texas, and there's a large convenience store here, probably the largest in the world, called Buc-ee's, and they use PDI technology, right? That's their ERP system. So able to utilize our software to be able to collect all of the non-trade invoices from all of their locations around the country. You'll find there's a lot of these are a lot of areas where we can help pull those invoices in automatically, and have a quick and easy approval process, and then push that data into the PDI software. So another area where we do a lot of we work a lot with governments and nonprofits, being able to host thousands of users simultaneously. What that means is we can provide a public portal. So all the documents that you have to make public to your citizens, we can provide them with a public portal for them to access, have guest access in to find things like meeting minutes or, inspection reports or things like that. Another area that's very popular within government and nonprofits is our Global Forms software, to be able to eliminate all of the different forms that the citizens have to fill out to for things like a building permit, an entertainment permit, all the different permitting documents. In the tax assessor's office, you have homestead exemptions and other tax related forms that need to be filled out and routed for some type of a review or approval workflow. So that's a very popular industry solution that we provide for government, local municipalities and things like that, and nonprofit organizations. So, and then there's many more that we provide. Manufacturing is a very popular, oil and gas, automotive, so you name it. Distribution is very popular use of our software as well. So with that, I would like to open it up to some questions. So if you have any questions, you can type them into the Q&A button there. So Nick, how are we? Do we have any questions? I'm not able to see them.
I'm not seeing any.
All right, we'll give it a couple more seconds, and all right, if we don't have any questions, then I really appreciate you attending our webinar today. If you have any further questions, you certainly can reach out to Century Business Technologies, and they will be able to help answer your questions, or if there's any interest in exploring our software further, they'll be able to help you with that as well. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to Nick.
Sure, just a couple of housekeeping things before we go. Square Nine hosts a webinar every month. So we have one coming up in about 2 weeks through the rest of the year. So you can sign up there at square9.com/webinars. And yeah, if you have any questions, please reach out to Century. And like I said, we'll share the recording with them and we'll get it out to you so you can rewatch this anytime. But yeah, we appreciate you coming.